So we're going to create a little program that will select a particular cell and move that cell up or down with some forms. So we're going to create a few little forms. So let's start with creating a form. So Alt F11, and we now are in the VBA editor. Let's go to Insert and Insert User Form. So now we've got a user form. If we can click down here and just readjust our user form. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Frame. Let's choose Frame, select a reasonable size, create another one by clicking on that same frame, pressing Ctrl C, clicking on the user form somewhere else and pressing Ctrl V. Now we can actually move that frame into the same kind of position, just level. And what we're going to do is we're just going to bring these two frames nice and close to the top. Okay, so now we're going to create a command button. So let's start with a command button here in frame 1. And we're going to press Control or copy that and put another command button in. We're going to copy that, put another command button in, and put another command button in. So what we're looking at is we're looking at 4 command buttons. Just going to move that slightly, adjust that slightly so that we can get a better picture of where the command buttons are. Just adjust them so that they actually fit nicely in here. Let's do the same over here. And this time we're going to use a text box. So let's start with the text box about the same kind of size. Press Ctrl C, copy, paste, move it around, paste and move it around. And now we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to just get them so that they look really good. And we can make our own judgments on this. And just fiddle around until you're happy with the positioning of them. So you want them looking approximately the same. And as you can see, I've got a little bit of space down here and here. So what we're going to do is we're going to press that and we're just going to drag it up a little bit more. And now we'll grab the bottom of the whole box and move it there. So when we run this, it looks something like this. Let's go out of there. Okay. Now we want to actually change our colors, so just click on the whole main user form, right click there, go to properties. We're just going to change our colors around a little bit. I like to use white. We're going to go to the frames. I've selected both frames and I'm going to put in the back color again as white. I like to use white, it's just a clean color. I'm going to select each of the command buttons. With holding Control down enables me to do them all at once, and I'm just going to put the back color as white again. Now I'm just going to go to the top command button and I'm going to go to Caption, and I'm just going to put in Shift 6, and that will make it a nice arrow that's going up. I'm going to go to the bottom one there, and again under Caption I'm going to actually put V. On command button, the right one, I'm actually going to put this little symbol here, and on the left one, this symbol here. So we've got left, right, up and down. I'm just going to change my frame name to nothing. I don't want a frame name, and I'll click on this frame name and click on that and make it nothing as well. Now when I run it, it looks a lot cleaner. Okay. So now we're going to put some commands in here. So let's start with this one. Click on command button 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually use what we call the active cell property. Active cell dot. And so what the active cell command does is it actually chooses what is the active cell. So it's actually saying, well, what is that active cell? So the active cell, and what we want to do with this top one is we want to make the active cell go offset 1 up. We could make it go offset 1 down or one to the side, either side, but the offset actually moves it a certain distance. So we're going to go offset, so we're using the offset property. We open our brackets, and the row offset for the up one is actually -1 because we want it to go up. -1, comma, and we don't want it to move any way to the left or right. And now we're just going to select that particular cell. So when I run that, if I click on this up here, click, it moves it up. I'm going to click it, it's going to move up there. Okay, excellent. Let's have a look at that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy that particular text. So I've pressed Control C, go back to my user form, press down, the down button. I'm going to paste it in there, and instead of negative, I'm actually going to change it so it's positive, or just 1. And that way, if I run it, it goes down and up. Now I need to do that with the left hand one. So let's go to the left and press Control V. So that's the active cell dot offset. And instead of -1, we actually want it 0. And to make it go to the left, it's actually -1 over here. And so we can check that. And as I click that, it moves it to the left. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to paste it in there. And instead of -1 here, I'm actually going to put +1. And I'm going to run that, and now I have the ability to move up and down. The problem is that if I go too far to the left or too far to the right, too far to the left, it's going to debug. Watch this. I've moved to the left, it's actually debugged. Application defined or object defined error. Runtime error 1004, and that's what that is. And basically why it's bugged out is it's actually tried to select a cell that isn't there. It's tried to select a cell to the left of this one. So we need a little program that's going to tell us not to do that. So how do we do that? So let's double click on this. Now the active cell dot offset is -1. Now what we need to do is we need to find out what the row is for this. Now if the row is already 1, we don't want it to go any further up. So if we declare the variable dim find row as integer, right, when find row is equal to, and then we go active cell dot row. Okay, so that's actually going to give us what row number it is. And then we go if find row is equal to 1, then end if. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make it say, well, if it is equal to 1, we want it to exit the sub. We want it to not do anything. So exit sub. And what will happen now, as I run this one, we'll run it now, as I go up, so here we go, up, and up one more time. It's actually not going to do anything. It's actually just going to exit the sub. Of course, I still haven't done it for left, so left it's going to bug out. So let's have a look at that particular one. So immediately we can see that it's down here. It's the yellow one here. Double click on that. So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to go dim find column as integer, and find column is equal to active cell dot column. And so then if we put a little if statement in there, if find column is equal to 1, then end if, always do it this way, you always put your if and then your end if straight away. That way you don't ever worry about having to put an end if statement in. It just helps in your programming. Then exit the sub. And so we run that, and we run it, and it's not going to do anything, but we can move that, we can move it backwards and forwards, we can move it down, etc. Now I haven't done it for the bottom because if I was going to look for the bottom, here, it would actually be a long way down. It's so many rows down, I'm not going to worry about that. I can actually get it so that it fits within borders. So I'm just going to put some borders around where the active cell is not going to go above these borders or below these borders. So the way I do that is I go to my user form. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at this. This one, if I make it so that it will only select it to row 2, so that it will select in here but won't go above here, right? The way to do that is to actually make this one, if find row equals 2, then exit sub. And if I want it to be not able to go to the left of this, the same thing over here. If column 1 equals 2, then exit sub. So now we need to make sure that the cell to the right doesn't go beyond this particular cell. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't want it to go beyond 6. So if we click on here and we write this, dim find column, so I'm just going to put that in here. Dim find column as integer, find column equals active cell dot column if find column is equal to 6, then end if, go up, exit sub. So what that's going to do is if the cell goes to 6, it's actually going to not go to the right. And we can prove that again by running that. And we always should run our little apps. So we're moving it to the left, moving it to the right, and as I click it, it's not going any further. And as I click up, it's not going any further. It can go left, it can go down, and at the moment, if I click it down, it's going to go past that point. So now we need it to go if it equals 9 on the downward arrow. So let's have a look at that. Downward arrow. So let's try that again. Dim find column as integer if find column is equal to 9, then end find column and go back up there. Compile error. What's going on here? End if, sorry, and then go exit sub there. So let's run that. So now as I go up and to the right, it's just going to remain, it's not going to be able to go up or down beyond that. Oh, it has. Let's run that again. Why is that not working? Let's have a look in here. Okay, oh yeah, I forgot to put in what find column was. Find column is equal to active cell dot row. Okay, so let's have a look here. Okay, so now we can run this particular thing and it will work. See, it's not going anywhere. It's going to the right now, but it's not going past there. It's going down, but it's not going past there. It's going up, but it's not going past there. And it's going across, but it's not going past there. So I've locked it in this white series of columns. Now the next thing that I want to do is I actually want to double click on this up one and just give it some labels. So I go in here, just up here, and press the apostrophe. And everything that I type after this will actually be not part of the program, but it will be all about labeling or telling me what's going on, and it'll actually be found in green. This is the up button. So as you can see, it's immediately gone to green. Now I'm just going to copy that and now go to the bottom one, the down button, and instead of being the up button, I'm going to call it down button, and so that's there. I'm going to click on this, press Ctrl V. This is the left button, and I'm going to go back to the right one and click on that, press enter, press Ctrl V, and this is the right button. Okay, so this just helps me know what's going on. I'm going to go across to these ones. I'm going to go to the up one here, and what I need to do is I need to make this actually be mouse down. So I go up to where it says change here, click on the drop down menu and go to mouse down, and we're going to see how this works. So let's have a look here. We're actually going to go back up to the up button. See, this is the up button. I'm going to select all that text, press Ctrl C, and go down to this one and paste it in there. I'm going to run that now. And so what happens is, I'm actually going to select and click in there, run it again. And now when I click on this, it should go up. Okay, so I'm just clicking in there and it's going up. Okay, so let's go to this one, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make it go mouse down. And this time I'm going to look for the down button. There it is, there. So I'm just going to select all of that text, press Ctrl C, and click it in the mouse down one there. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. This one's going to be the left one. So I need to go up and I need to make this the mouse down button. So mouse down. And now I need to just go and look for the left button. So there it is. Select that, press Ctrl C, click it in here. And now I need to go to the right button, one, and again going up to mouse down, and I'm looking for the right hand column one. This is the up button, this is the right button. Here we go. There we go. Select that, press Ctrl C, back down to there. Now you'll see I've got all these change, text box for change things. I'm just going to select all of those and press delete. Not backspace, delete. Much easier to deal with the delete button than the backspace button. With the backspace button, I'm doing it for all of these. With the backspace button, you might accidentally take something out that you didn't want to take out. And that's just cleaned up our programming. Let's just run this. So now we can left click, we can down click, in each of these, and we can do it within here. So they're just different ways of doing it. Okay.